References for criteria and credits related to apparatus equipment are shown here. The new fire suppression rating schedule made numerous changes to the equipment items required for full credit on pumpers as well as service and ladder trucks. Equipment required to be carried on pumpers can be found in Appendix A, Table 512A of the schedule, while equipment for service and ladder trucks can be found in Appendix B, Tables 542A and B. The Louisiana addendum to the schedule also includes items that Louisiana allows as substitutes in some areas. In our discussion today, we will look at equipment requirements for engines, service trucks, and ladder trucks. We will also be discussing testing programs for pumps and hose, as well as for aerial ladders and elevated platforms. I may occasionally refer to these as ALEPs. The schedule does not offer credit for testing SCBA bottles or ground ladders. Let's address equipment required for engines first. The only item the new schedule added to what was already required for an engine company is a fill hose. In areas where water hauling requires use of drafting sources or dry hydrants, we would expect to see hard suction hose carried on your pumpers. And in areas where hydrants are used exclusively, we would expect to see soft suction hose carried on your pumpers. But as long as you have one or the other, you are good to go. There are numerous items that have been removed from earning credit, including the booster reel, spare hose, distributing nozzle, foam, and the hose jacket. Take a look at the chart shown on this slide. You can see that the equipment carried on the pumper is worth 450 points. The pump tests are worth 100 points. The hose tests are worth 50 points, for a total possible credit on an engine company of 600 points. The number of solid stream nozzles and 2.5-inch combination nozzles both reduced from 2 to only 1 of each required. Both need to have shut-off valves, and the solid stream nozzle needs to have 1 inch, 1 1/4, and 1 1/8 inch tips. If any of these tips are missing, you will not get credit for the nozzle. Finally, under the previous schedule, you needed 1,200 feet of supply hose, with the first 400 feet being comprised of 2-inch, 2.5, or 3-inch hose, and an additional 800 feet or more of 2.5-inch or larger hose. The new schedule simplifies this by calling for 1,000 feet of 2.5-inch or larger supply hose and 200 feet of 2-inch, 2.5-inch, or 3-inch attack hose. The bottom line is that 1,200 feet of this size of hose is still required. PIAL will give credit for the 1,200 feet of hose regardless of how it is configured on your pumper. When it comes to service trucks, there have been numerous changes. The most impactful change is the addition of 2 ground ladders, bringing the total required to 4. A service truck now needs to carry a 24-foot or longer extension ladder and a 16-foot or longer roof ladder, in addition to the 14-foot combination ladder and the 10-foot collapsible attic ladder that were previously required. The only item removed from the equipment list for service trucks was the hose hoist, but there have been other changes to other items. The number of SCBAs and spare cylinders changed to 4 each, and the number of salvage covers has been reduced to 6. The size of the electric generator has increased from 2.5 kilowatts to a minimum of 3 kilowatts. In addition, ISO has defined the minimum air handling capacity of a smoke ejector as 5,000 cubic feet per minute or more. Finally, the configuration of pike poles has changed from 6 of varying length to 2 pike poles that are 3 to 4 feet in length and 4 others that are at least 6 feet long. For ladder trucks, it's important to note that all items required for a service truck are also required for a ladder truck. The ladder truck also needs several other items, including another 16-foot or longer roof ladder, a 35-foot or longer extension ladder, and a large spray nozzle with a capacity of at least 1,000 gallons per minute. The prior schedule required this nozzle to be rated only at 500 gallons per minute, so this new nozzle size represents an increase. In addition, a ladder truck requires an elevated stream device of sufficient height to reach the roof of any building in the graded area, or 100 feet, whichever is less, and an aerial ladder or elevating platform. PIAL will review apparatus testing records during their field visit. Apparatus and hose tests may be conducted in-house or by a contracted agency. In either case, records of these tests are required. For pump, hose, and aerial tests, the three most recent tests will be used to determine the interval of the testing programs. PIAL will ask for the 5 most recent aerial tests to determine the date of the most recent non-destructive testing that has been done, because NFPA requires these tests to be performed by a qualified testing agency at least every 5 years. Complete test records earn 100%. Incomplete test records will result in the credit for the test interval being reduced by 25%, and if there are no records of claimed tests, PIAL will not award any credit for those tests. Records of these tests must be provided to PIAL during the rating process. Hose testing requirements have also changed. NFPA 1962 now requires a tack hose to be tested to at least 300 pounds per square inch, not to exceed the service test pressure marked on the hose. PIAL defines a tack hose as hose with diameters of up to 3 inches. It also requires supply hose to be tested to at least 200 pounds per square inch, not to exceed the service test pressure marked on the hose. PIAL defines supply hose as 3.5 inch or larger hose. The chart you see at the top of this slide refers to interval credits for pumps, while the chart on the bottom refers to interval credits for both hose and ALEP tests. This concludes my presentation related to credit for fire department apparatus. As always, we at the Property Insurance Association hope this information has been useful to you. If you should have any questions about this presentation or any other rating-related topic, please do not hesitate to call. In closing, I'd like to thank you for your time and attention, and I hope you have a great day.